Just like that.
We're live. All right, Assalamu alaikum, guys. As I had told you guys before, I was going to start doing some other kind of content on the Mr. Islam Answers Back show, right? So this is one of those. This is one of the ideas that I had where we'll have we'll speak about different subjects. So the subject that we have here, by the way, this is my guest host, Zam Zam,
Assalamu alaikum,
Sister Zam
everyone.
Zam.
How are you doing?
All right. So we're going to be discussing, as the subject says, do nice guys really finish last? And we're going to get the Muslim woman's perspective on it, right? So this is something that, inshallah, for the Muslim brothers and sisters, this can, some I guess advice or tips that can help the Muslim brothers in their relationships, right? Because this is something that's going around in the larger community, the larger perspective as well, where there's a lot of people saying out there that women really don't care for the quote unquote nice guy because they're too nice. Their character seems to be kind of weak, kind of soft. You know what I'm saying? And so, as Muslims, we're men as well, and so we want to know, how does that affect? How does that apply within the realm of Muslims relationships? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. And like I said, for you guys, I know you're used to me debating and stuff like that. So I wanted to try some other content and see how it goes. So, right, you guys will let us know if you want this kind of content, if it's beneficial, if you feel it's something we can continue, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do like a reaction commentary to a young man. He's not Muslim, but he's talking about this subject. And let's see, does this type of ideology apply across the board? Is it something that only non-Muslims deal with? Or is it something, because regardless of religion, we're still men and women? And does something like this apply even in the realm of Muslim relationships, right?
Right.
So let's go on ahead and let's get that set up. And we're going to get right into it. And let's talk about it. All right, here we go, guys. You ready? Let's get it going. Let's hear what he has to say.
Older, we don't really.
Let me turn that up.
We don't decline. From the if you keep yourself healthy, guys, if you maintain, staying in the gym and stuff, keeping your body healthy, staying, good looking, well groomed, all that kind of stuff, and you're working on your passion and you're trying to be successful, you're only gonna skyrocket. If you're in your 20s here, you're only going to continue to go up. So a woman in her 20s obviously is at her peak because we as men see them as sexual objects. It is what it is. Let's be real here. They're going to be, at their top 20 all the way to, or 18, 17 all the way to, whatever, early 30s if they stay on top, stay on point. But at the mid 30s.
All right, so let's listen. We're going to stop it right there and talk about that particular aspect right there. Because that's something that the Prophet talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like in relationships, about both the man and the woman, the husband and the wife in that relationship, about keeping themselves, like keeping yourself up. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
There's a hadith the Prophet talks about, like if the husband's out of town or something and he's coming back in town, that, the woman, the wife, if she should like beautify herself and keep herself well groomed,
right.
well groomed for when the husband comes home, so that way he doesn't come home and you're up in your you're beat up, you know what I'm saying? You're beat up, sweatpants,
right.
and your hair hasn't been done, and you know what I'm saying,
right.
And vice versa. The Prophet talks about the men keeping themselves groomed and
right.
smelling nice and all of that. So that is a very important aspect. What do you think about that?
So okay, speaking on that particularly, yes, a lot of people like try to woo somebody at the beginning. They beautify themselves, both men and women. They both beautify themselves. They're all looking to, for that certain type of attraction. And of course, dressing nice and smelling good and everything like that will definitely be a part of someone's attraction towards you, on top of maybe your smartness and, your deen and everything like that. But a lot of people slip and stop after, after you get the person, after you get married, after you have that person. They just like, okay, well, now we're sweatpants, t-shirt, and a messy bun, and that's just like the new go-to now. It's not about, yes, be comfortable, you don't have to be out of your comfort zone, but it is still about appealing to that person's physical attraction to you. So making sure you looked how you looked when they first had you keep that going, is because it's still about that. It's like, okay, well, now, some people, like, for example, like people who wear a lot of makeup, you don't never know what that person looks like until they take the makeup off, and you're like, oh, okay, now I can see the real you. They should appreciate you for the real you too, but you should appreciate them enough to show them that you're still willing to keep yourself up, not for just yourself, but also for your partner as well. It's for both of you guys.
Right. So yeah, so that actually applies in the sunnah, because like I said, the prophet did talk about that. So that's very important. So, for the brothers and the sisters who are married, you know what I mean? That's very important. Don't let that slip. And even in the non-Muslim, where they talk about that too, about how, after people have been married for a while, the wife lets herself go, the husband lets himself go, it gets a big pot belly and everything.
Right.
And so yeah, it's very important to maintain that upkeep of yourselves. Brothers, keep yourself in shape, keep yourself well groomed. The sisters, same thing. Keep yourself in shape, keep yourself groomed, keep yourself, keep that appealing, that appealingness that you had when you first got married. Keep that going, so that way that continues on throughout the marriage. So yeah,
don't use it as an excuse either. Oh, I had 4 kids now, and I'm always, I'm the home. And a lot of women who end up getting married sometimes stay as like the housewife, like you're home, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're making sure the kids are in school and everything, while your husband is out, earning some type of income or doing some type of work to maintain for the household. Sometimes, most households are like that. It's usually somebody has to stay home and take care of the house while one person is out working. And sometimes, 2 people have to go ahead and do it. In that case, don't use it as an excuse. Make time. And it only takes sometimes 10, 15, 30 minutes. Freshen up and just bring that. It'll make yourself feel good. Like, it makes yourself feel good. Just bring that back. Don't just lose it. Don't just lose it somewhere. Remember, I'm the same person you married 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Maybe, life happens. So just keep yourself up. Just make sure you do so. Your health is important.
All right, so we're going to continue on. Let's see.
They start dropping off. That's when they settle for the nice guy. That's when they're looking for, okay, who's going to be the provider for me? Who's going to be the man to take care of me when my looks go, when this pussy ain't tight? That's when the nice guy finishes last.
Sorry about that, guys.
In the meantime, they're looking for the highest value male. They're looking for guys that drop their dick off.
Oh my goodness! All right, guys. So you guys, excuse me. This is kind of like off the cuffs here, so we'll have to excuse the language. But all right, still on what he was saying there. Now, now when it comes to Islam, obviously, from the start, when a brother and sister's looking to get married, that's something that has to be there already, because it's marriage, that he has to be able to provide. And that's a good thing too about Islam, how it protects the woman in that regard. But a lot of the problems that people are having in the non-Muslim society is because this the family structure has broken down, because a lot of times the fathers are not there in the relationships, that and the disconnect with the children, and especially with the daughters and stuff like that. That protection is gone, because Islam has that protection where you have to come to her guardian to speak if you want to seek her hand, like it was in the old. Even in the non-Muslims, they had the same kind of thing where you had to ask the father's for the daughter's hand in marriage. You know what I mean? And obviously the father is going to check you out, make sure you're an upstanding man, make sure you have the ability to provide and stuff like that. So with Islam, that's there from the beginning, that looking for the man to provide. So that's going to be a given already. You know what I'm saying? So and he's talking in their context where, you could be dating somebody for a long time, and maybe marriage is later. Because, obviously in this society,
there is a lot of that.
Right. You can do whatever you want until you're ready to get married. Right. So he's saying that later women will maybe, be out there in society at first. And then later on, as they get older, they then want to look for the man who's the provider. Whereas in Islam, the provider is sought from the beginning. So it's not like you're some kind of simp at the start.
Right.
It's just that you have to come correct. You know what I mean?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, right. But at the same time, because I know a lot of the fellas talk about, well, they wouldn't mind providing, but a lot of times they get these women who are single mothers and they had a bunch of children by a different bunch of men. They were never married. They were sleeping around. So that for them is a turnoff. So they was like, if they had the aspect of a Muslim woman where, not in every case, but in most cases where she's coming to you, either she's never been married, but she wasn't out there being around either. Right. So at least you're getting, you're being presented with a quality woman, and at the same time he's coming as the provider. Then they're like, it's not a bad thing. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So in that regard, for the Muslim perspective, that's there from the start, where yes, she's going to be looking for a provider from the start, and her father's going to, but the thing is, that's what her father's going to do, right? The father is going to make sure as her guardian that when you seek the Muslim woman's hand in marriage, that he's going to check you over. He's going to make sure that, okay,
there's a checklist. It's
right.
1, 2,
what's
3,
your character
4,
like?
Yeah.
Do you have the means to provide for my daughter before I hand her off to you? You see what I'm saying? So in the Muslim realm, you're not, like I said, you wouldn't be coming off as the simple, you know what I mean? Guys,
because we have guidelines for certain
right.
just for purposes just like this.
Right.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Like doing a lot of problems that I guess the non-Muslim society has to deal with. Us as Muslims, like, subhanAllah, us as Muslims, if we follow the guidelines in the Sharia, like, we don't have to deal with any of those problems. Finding a protector from the beginning, even at a young age, you could definitely do that, is because there's certain guidelines we follow. Finding somebody to marry, looking into business, education, there's a guideline for all of that stuff. So you don't have to worry about whether somebody, has been out here in the streets and now has 4 or 5 kids and ready to settle down. And in some cases, people have been married before and, have a kid or previous kids from previous marriages. As time goes on, things happen. And, from there, but we still have guidelines even after that, whether what to move on from there, even getting married after that, even after having married, there's guidelines for everything. So they're following, I guess that when you're following the non-Muslim society, that a lot of those worries come into place. But as a Muslim, you won't have to worry about a lot of those things as long as you're following the right way. So that's great that we have that protection, that we have that hadith, that we have that iman, like the fact that we have already what's set up from us, so we're not confused and it's very straightforward, is very helpful. So use that.
And so how I could tie it into what he was saying is that, so basically, if women, like he's talking about, if non-Muslim women didn't live in society like that after they done been out there, and then later on as they get older decide to look for the guy who's going to be provider, if they had done that from the beginning, then a lot of the problems that these men and women are talking about now could have been avoided.
Yes, that's also very true.
Right, that's what he's basically saying.
That's also very true.
All right, so let's go to the next thing.
Calling it right now, dropping dick off 2019.
Excuse the language.
Excuse the language.
Gentleman uses.
Yeah.
About mid-30 phase, if they stay good looking. If they don't really take care of themselves, it's probably just going to be strictly.
Okay, I know he's about to say something crazy right there. Let me skip ahead.
So I guess the real question here is, why don't women want to fuck nice guys?
Oh my God. All right, guys, you got to excuse us on that.
Yeah.
They're too busy in trying to show themselves as some kind of guy, some kind of provider, to be what they need instead of being what they want. There's a difference between being something that a woman needs and being something that a woman wants. Because if she needs this could not just be the right time. She could be 24.
All right. Let me see.
That might be her phase right there. She might still be in her whole phase. So she's not looking.
Well, again, like I said, for the Muslim woman, that's not really, you know what I'm saying? There's no, or they shouldn't be, right?
There shouldn't be that phase.
Right, there shouldn't be any whole phase,
There
as they
should be
say.
no whole
Right? They
phase.
should.
It's a whole phase. There's a phase that
Right,
from the
right.
beginning, to where you need to go, but there's none of that phase.
Guys get caught up in here's a flower, here's this, here's that, which is crazy because, you know, actually was talking to a chick I had over, right? So we're talking about a mutual friend that was at my job previously. How her boyfriend would always send her flowers, a bouquet of flowers every Wednesday. Typical nice guy. I met this guy, he's a nice guy, upstanding guy, nice guy. Send her flowers every Wednesday. At first, it was like, wow, all the coworkers were like, oh, wow, he sent you flowers. It's great. It's so romantic. All this. And the whole time, I'm like, it's good. That's what's up for him. That's great. But what I noticed was even, as weeks went by, every Wednesday, you get the same bouquet of flowers. Every Wednesday. And, then it came to a point where I think I came back. I was like, oh, you got flowers or whatever? And she was like, yeah, he sent them. Yeah, he sends these every blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow. You can tell in her voice that she didn't appreciate it at all. And I had mentioned that, and then the girl was talking to me like, oh, no, that's not true. If you did this, if you did that. I said, no. Stop that. I said, if I came to you every time you came over to my crib, if I presented you with a rose every single time you came, you coming over once a week, and I present you a flower. If I did that, after a while, you would not value it that much as the first time. You would not value it. And she was going back and forth. She was arguing. I was like, I'm not hearing none of that. At the end of the day, if I gave you a flower, that first time you'd be like, wow, that's amazing. But after a while, it'll start getting old. You're going to start to think that you're going to start expecting a flower. That's a woman's nature right there. They will start expecting a flower. Because I guarantee you, if you stopped it after a while, they'd be like, where's my flower? You're supposed to give me a flower every... do you see why that is? That's why nice guys finish last. Because they don't understand a woman's nature. Women like conflict. Women like, something that's not ordinary. Women like a skewed path. They don't like things that just go on a straight line. Guys, we think straightforward. We think.
All right, so let's talk about that there. Let's talk about that right there then. So, okay. Yeah. Now, like I said, I think that right there, what you talk about, that's something that would apply to all women and between all women and men, whether you're Muslim or not, as far as that. And that's the real subject of this video now, about the nice guy thing. You know what I mean? Even for a Muslim woman, is what he's saying true? Is a nice guy, like, especially like that, where he's always, falling at you, he's always giving flowers every time. Does that make the man become boring? Does he make him seem like he's weakened in his character? Like, speak on it. What do you think?
Okay, so first, being a nice guy, I wouldn't say there's nothing wrong with being a nice guy, but it's also how you present yourself as a nice guy. So you don't want to be a yes man, so to speak. So somebody who just kind of just does whatever she says, and that's just because this just how you roll. You don't want to be in a position where you are possibly being used, or the love and or affection, or the I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but where it's all coming from one side. You don't want anything to be one-sided, basically. You don't want anything to be one-sided. You want everything to have some, like, it's a cause and reaction. Somebody does something for you, you're expecting a reaction for them, whether that's positive or negative, hopefully positive. If somebody does something for you. So if somebody's giving you a rose every week, right? Okay, you're gonna be appreciative, yes, but you're gonna start expecting it. You don't want to start expecting something, because once it doesn't happen, your expectation goes down. You don't want to start doing things that people expect unless it's supposed to be expected. Something for as simple as giving a rose every single week. You don't want to do something that's expected, and then as soon as you stop doing it, now it's a problem. It went from being something that you thought was a nice gesture to it being a problem if you don't do it. But you don't want to have something be repetitive. Repetitive is probably like close to boredom. You know, when something starts becoming repetitive, people have the same 9 to 5 job that they go to for the last 3, 4 years, Monday through Friday. It becomes repetitive and it can get boring unless you really enjoy what you do. But then it wouldn't be considered a job. It'd be considered your hobby or your career, you know, because job, you know, that's just a clock in, clock out situation. Unless you own the place, then it's definitely up to you to make your decision on how you feel about your job. But you don't want anything to be repetitive. Repetitive gets boring. You want excitement. We look for a little adrenaline. As humans, we look for adrenaline. We look for a little adventure. We look, you know, not to really be scared, but, you know, to have a little, make your skin crawl a little bit. To make you feel like you still have that surprise factor. Especially when you're in a relationship with someone, when you're married to someone, and that person, let's say every week on Friday, you know, after Juma, y'all go to have lunch, or after Juma, we have like late lunch or dinner with each other. Let's say y'all go to the same restaurant, y'all sit in the same spot. The people know you by names when you come in, and y'all eat maybe the same dish every time you come. She orders this, you order this, and it's the same thing. And it's lovely at first. It's a connection moment, but after a while, it's like, okay, so this is just becoming a norm. And then eventually it doesn't become something that's not disrespected but not appreciated as it was at the beginning. First it's like, ooh, you know, you get to do this, and now it's like, you know, okay, here's, you know, here we go again. 3 months later, 4 months later, you know, you get tired of eating the same thing. You get tired of doing the same thing. You want to do something new, exciting. You don't want to be a yes man. You don't want to sit here in a repetitive cycle like a hamster on a wheel. You don't want to be on that wheel. You want to hop off and maybe start doing a treadmill, hop off and start, you know, maybe doing some stretches. You know, you want to change up how you do things, is because it leaves the person excited. It leaves the person not knowing, and, you know, surprise somebody. And it doesn't have to be physically anything. It could be even simple as words. It could be as simple as a gesture. It's very, the topic is very broad. A lot of people are like, well, now I got to spend a lot of money. You don't have to spend anything but time with somebody most of the time. You don't have to spend anything but time with someone, and show somebody that you appreciate them. But when you continue to do something, it becomes no longer as an appreciation gesture. It becomes a to-do gesture. Like you're clocking in and clocking out. You do the same thing over and over and over again. It becomes a clocking in and clocking out type situation.
Right.
You don't want the gestures that you do for somebody to be clocking in and clocking out. You want it to be appreciated every single time. And the best way to do that is not have it be repetitive.
Right. So you see, brothers, yeah, you know, like I said, that would apply across the board, whether you're Muslim or not, is that when, you know, like she's saying, especially in Islam, where the man is seen to be the head of the household, the leader, right, the protector, the maintainer, you know, she's definitely going to be looking to you for, you know, to lead, right? And so you have to be the one to bring that excitement. You know what I mean? Especially too, like in many Muslim household where, you know, the Muslim man is the one who's the main provider, and maybe your wife is a housewife, she's with the kids and everything like that. So now for sure, right, you're gonna have to be the one for sure to bring that excitement. Whether, like you said, whether it's, you know, taking her out to dinner somewhere, you know, you just got to learn how to be able to mix it up. It can't be something that's redundant, because then, like I said, it just gets repetitive, it gets boring, and, you know, you start looking kind of lame. You know what I mean? So mix it up. It can't be flowers every week at the same time. Yeah, switch it up. You know what I mean?
Do things. You don't have to take her. And I mean, if she's in the house a lot, you know, trying to take her out would be that would be nice. Not everybody wants to be stuck in the house all the time, you know. So, but if you're both out all the time, maybe she's working, you're working, whatever the case may be. Maybe I want some time alone at home. You know, if you do have kids or whatever, maybe you want some time alone at home. Go on YouTube. You know, YouTube is probably like the biggest platform for ideas. Definitely go on YouTube and DIY something. You can come up, set a whole picnic movie date in your living room, in your backyard, you know, in your bedroom. You can set up things that probably cost you $10 or less, or nothing at all if you find stuff around your house. Just set up time where it's like, oh, you know, or bring, if you've been together for a while, do something that you did when y'all first met. So let's say like 2 years ago when you first met, y'all used to go, walking in the park or whatever. Now you don't do it anymore. But now make time to do that, because that's just it brings back those old memories. And the old memories are sometimes the best memories. And it reminds the person of why y'all are together, why y'all are dealing with each other, why y'all are married, why y'all are handling your household, your children, your finances, and everything. It's like, you're with your person, and let that person appreciate you for you. So sometimes bringing back those old times that you had together will spark brand new times together.
Right, because the fact that you brought it back, you hadn't done it in so long, and now you bring it back, it becomes a surprise like that.
Oh my God,
so
you remember.
so basically, I would say that
like, oh my God, you remember.
Like, if you're gonna be, you know what I mean. So you got to be like, of course, you know. So I want everybody to understand.
Slightly creative.
When we're talking about nice guy, when they mean the nice guy finished last, they really talking about like the guy who's boring, who's lame, who's, you know what I'm saying. So of course you want to be nice to your spouse or your significant other, but like I said, there has to be, I guess, I don't know how, but it has to be like a style to it. You know?
Spunk.
Right, there has to be some suave.
Some, like,
you got
some little shoulder move.
So don't be like the guy, like he's talking about in the video, the guy who's weak and lame, but he's doing the same thing, flowers every week, flowers every week. He has no style. He doesn't know how to like change it up, to mix it up. And he thinks that just doing this flowers every week, I'm showing my undevoted love to her. And she's starting to look at you like, oh boy, here we go. Like he said, here we go again with the flowers. It's boring. You got to learn how to be versatile, brothers. All right?
Switch it up.
Switch it up. All right, let's continue on a little more.
Logically, we're like, yo, we get it from point A to point B, we're going straight there. Women want to go from point A to point B. They want us to be an adventure everywhere they go. I want to stop over here and go around here, go here, and then we'll end up at point B.
Right.
How much better was that? That's a woman's thinking. That's a woman's mentality. So that's why nice guys finish last. They're too focused in, just this general thing of girl meets boy, boy likes girl, he confesses to her, he presents her with flowers, he treats her like a queen, he lays out the red carpet, throws out his coat around her, pulls open the door, stuck in this fantasy of that stuff. And women have gotten so desensitized to that kind of stuff. Women.
All right, so let's see, what about that now? All right, now let me switch this screen. So yeah, now what about that kind of stuff? Do you feel that is he right in that aspect, that women have become desensitized to all that kind of stuff, to that gentleman opening the door and of course we don't do the coat on the ground over the puddle anymore, right. but you know what he's saying, that kind of like every moment he's, oh wait, let me get this for you in here and all of that. Do you feel that women, or is it good at certain times, or if you do it too much, it becomes, like what do you feel? That's
exactly like I was going to say. Don't do anything too much. Like, a lot of people have heard probably the statement, you're doing too much. And sometimes when people say that, you really are doing too much. And it's finding out exactly what that is. You can ask the person that told you you're doing too much, or you can figure it out for yourself if you're constantly doing the same thing. Now, okay, women becoming desensitized to a lot of those, and I'm gonna call them chivalrous things, opening the door for someone, and make you, when they're cold outside, you give them your jacket. A lot of things. Women, like, we look for that movie, Princess in the Castle, knight, try to come save me. A lot of women look for that, but they don't know that that's what they want and not what they need. So a lot of people's wants are temporary and not in the longevity of things. They're not exactly everything somebody's looking for. There's situations where people can, nice guys, for example, treat you with everything you thought you wanted. Everything you thought you wanted. You wanted somebody to open the door for you every single time. You want somebody to give you flowers all the time. You want somebody to buy you chocolates, tell you how beautiful you are all the time, every single day. But again, it becomes repetitive, and it's like, okay, all right, this is, it's starting to become like, suffocating, kind of, in a way. When you do things out of the blue, those are the best, is because no one expected them, and it makes it feel like it's more genuine, like, oh, you really do love me, oh, oh, you really do, you do show this type of appreciation towards me, or show this type of actions towards me. Like, the best ones are the surprise. I'm not saying just turn it off completely, open the door for somebody. That's just a gesture. As humans, we should be doing that anyway. That's just common courtesy, for one another. But if you're taking care of somebody, you don't want to seem like you're smothering them. Don't smother the lady. We've came so far in society, even as women, where we have to sometimes be as strong as we can for ourselves until somebody can be as strong with us. And especially getting married, your man should be a strong enough person to withstand a lot of this societal, outlook on how things should be. Because there's nothing that's a standard for how things should be. Everybody has their own standard. There's no such thing as a norm in what you should be doing, because everyone's situation is different. So if you're taking care of somebody, of course, showing, somebody that you love them in different actions or gestures or whatever the case may be, I won't say like make it once in a blue moon, but don't make it like a repetitive thing where it's every single day, every single day, every single day. It's because at some point we're just like, okay, you're doing too much. I'm going to need you to, I'm going to need you to calm down. All right. I'm going to need you to relax. All right. I feel like I can't breathe. And sometimes you got to take a break from somebody. Like having that little bit of, space, or, kind of turning down. I wouldn't say turning down yourself for somebody's, because that's one reason somebody should love you, is they should love you for you. But being able to kind of step back and allowing that person to express themselves is a big, big point. Being able to get allowed to step back and allowing somebody else to express themselves, or the other person to express themselves, is a big step. And a lot of people forget that, is bad, because they think, oh, I'm all about trying to please you, please you, please you, please you, please you, please you, please you. And you're like pushing them into this corner, and now they're stuck in this corner, and you're like, okay, I can't go anywhere. Not like you're trying to escape, but I can't go anywhere as in trying to say anything or do anything. It's because you do everything. Allow me to do something as well. You don't want to be the only one doing something for somebody. You want to be able to receive that back from somebody as well. You will never know that if you keep pushing down
right.
on somebody.
And I was gonna say, right. So that's the problem with the quote unquote nice guy, right? That nice guy, he's just always going. Right. Exactly. And like she said, sometimes he doesn't even give the woman a chance to reciprocate back, because he's just so into her. He's like, that he's dreamy. He's in that dreamy state.
Right.
But like she said, it becomes overbearing. It becomes, it becomes like now you're just smothering that person.
Right.
People, they don't want to be smothered.
Nobody wants to do it. If you want to do it, do something where you seem like it's about to become repetitive, and then stop, and you're like, wait a minute. What happened? What happened? Okay, for the last, this whole month of May or June, every Wednesday I got flowers, all this month, and then next month it's nothing. So now you're like, wait, what's going on? And women are like that too. As soon as they start getting something, and as they seem like that's going to be a continuous thing, and then you stop it, now you go and looking for it. Now you go searching for it. Now you go to try to be a detective about it. Okay, so what's going on? Why did it stop? And then they're going to try to figure it out, because they want to. And doing things as a do things spontaneously, yes, but also do things as they coincide with something. So if you're giving somebody flowers, it's because I love you, or you're giving someone flowers because it's been a tough week, or you're giving somebody flowers, it's your anniversary, or this is the day, you remember this day 2-3 years ago, this, that, and the third happened, you remember that, let it have some type of significance, so you have something to put it up against. If you don't do that, it's just like another thing. And people get things and sit them to the side all the time. And you don't want somebody to just sit what they give you to the side. And that could be anything. Even somebody's words, you can sit those to the side too. Everything. You don't want to just be pushed to the side. You want everything to be relevant at that moment and at that time. So trying to, set something next to something else, kind of give it some type of significance, not just.
Right, not just doing it all the time.
Yeah,
just to be doing it.
Significance.
So all right, so we'll wrap it up with this then. So the ultimate question then: Do nice guys really finish last?
Yes, but they do finish. That's the big thing. They do finish,
but they finish last.
But they finish last. You know, like
so. Basically, brothers, as you heard, right? You know, it's okay to express how you feel about your. You know, again, in Islam, we're talking about the husband and wife because obviously Islam Muslims not supposed to be dating out there. But still, like you said, even in the marriage, like she said, if you're smothering and constantly, that like your wife says, like she's smothered. You see what I'm saying? But like you said, so basically, you don't want to be that nice guy who becomes that boring nice guy to your wife. So be able to mix it up, be able to have some versatility, do things random. But I think one thing she said that was important is to be spontaneous and let it be genuine. Right? Let it be genuine. Don't just give the flowers every week. No, give it and make it seem like it's like because it's a special thing because it really is special. You know what I'm saying? So keep those things in mind. Like I said, guys, we're gonna, we'll mix in content like this. I want to see how this goes and let us know how you feel about this content. If you would like more content like this, we'll do that. I'm still gonna do my debates, so don't worry. I'm still gonna be doing my debates and everything and my refutations. And like I said, I wanted to start going on the offensive where we start making videos to address them as opposed to always having to defend. But I still wanted to change up the channel and add some things like this. So let us know how you feel about this. As I said, this is my guest host today, Sister Zam Zam.
Hey, how you doing, everyone?
If you want to follow her, right? If you want to follow her on Instagram or IG,
you can definitely follow me on Instagram. It is Egyptian_queen with a K, not a Q. That was taken. But definitely, if you guys would like to follow me on Instagram, my page is definitely available for you guys. And make sure you like this video.
Yes, don't forget to like the video.
Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment on the video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you already subscribed, there's a little bell next to the subscription button, I believe. You should see it like down there somewhere. It's a little bell. Click on it so you don't miss any of the notifications for more videos. Definitely do so. Right. Hopefully you like this video.
Yeah, hope you like it. And like I said, guys, don't forget to support the platform. Join the Patreon. If you want to support, we got the Cash App, we got the PayPal, right? So support the channel so we can bring you more content. I'll be always telling you guys how I want to expand, but it takes, we need support to do that, inshallah. So.
And if you have any ideas, leave them on the comments as well. If there's anything you would like for us to talk about or speak on or have any open discussion about, definitely leave those in the comments below as well. Love the ideas. Love the expression. Love to see what you guys think as well.
All right. So one more time, that's her Instagram. So follow the sister on Instagram. And inshallah, we'll see you guys on the next show. All right?
All right, you guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.